Journalist Jacque Maribe is likely to face charges of being an accessory to the murder of Monicah Kimani. A neighbour is also likely to face charges alongside the TV journalist, raising the number of suspects in the case to 3.
And with Seth Olale with the details and revelations of a house the suspect used to live in Buruburu estate.
Investigations indicate that the main suspect in the murder of Monicah Kimani burnt the clothing he was wearing on the night of the murder, and that the part of the robe he was wearing did not get completely burnt. The suspect is said to have burnt the items in Langata. There were other items burnt alongside the robe. Police believe the suspect confessed this information to his fiancée and that she withheld it from them. Police also suspect that Irungu shot himself in the shoulder in a toilet at the Langata home, an act they cannot fully explain but which they believe may have been attempted suicide. The weapon Irungu used was given to a neighbor and recovered by police on Saturday after a confession from a housemaid. The neighbor will face charges in court too. These discoveries and inconsistencies in the testimony provided in statements by the journalist and the suspect have prompted the journalist's arrest and looming legal action. Meanwhile, when we visited the residential area where murder suspect Joseph Irungu briefly stayed in Buruburu Phase 3 last at court, we found his former neighbors still discussing the brutal murder that occurred on September 20th in Kilimani. It's at this house where neighbors say Irungu, aka Joey, lived with his 3 male friends from last year.
He was an open guy, I can say. He was talkative, he was social, because all that time he has been there, we have been talking like good friends. I've never seen anything suspicious about him.
Irungu's former neighbors also believed he was a security officer, offering VIP protection to politicians, and that he was actively involved in last year's election campaigns.
I came to know him through our neighbors, exactly. By that moment he was staying there, he was coming, he was traveling a lot, especially wakati wa elections. He was all over doing the job of security to our politicians wa Mombasa. Alafu sasa anakuja like anakaa 1 week, anaenda anakaa like a month, anakuja anaenda, yes, like that.
The current occupant of the house where Irungu was residing denied associating himself with the murder suspect that is now in police custody, despite some neighbors saying he was one of his friends. The tenant says he moved into the house end of July and had no idea of the previous occupant. Seth Olale, NTV.